is Laura Gebhardt. She's assisted by Kayla Long. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please rise and honor America as we play our national anthem?
And a pleasant good afternoon. You're watching the Stag Sports Network. It's a new era here for Fairfield field hockey, is for the first time playing on a brand new surface here at University Field under a brand new head coach in Laura Gebhardt. Fairfield and Villanova squaring off, both of these teams looking for their first victory of 2025. Hey everybody, JJ Duke with you. Thanks for spending your Friday here with us. Fairfield taking a weekend road trip out to both Pennsylvania and upstate New York, losing to Lafayette 2-0, but giving a good account of themselves against nationally ranked Syracuse on Sunday after going down 4-0, outscoring Syracuse 2-1 in the second half, getting a couple of goals off penalty corners, one from the first-year Kaylin Fogelson, another from Pilar Mengani. Meanwhile, you see Ava Borkowski, the grad student formerly of the University of North Carolina, as our player to watch for Villanova, scored both goals in the narrow 3-2 loss against James Madison last weekend, and then lost to fourth-ranked Maryland 4-0. This Villanova team just missed out on the Big East tournament last season, going 4-3 in the league, finishing tied for fourth, but ultimately losing out on a tiebreaker to Liberty after they lost the head-to-head meeting. Meanwhile, for Fairfield, the defending champions in the Northeast Conference, Pilar Mengani, outstanding season last year, 5 goals, 5 assists. This is going to be game number 60 for her in a Fairfield jersey, and he was named to the NFHCA All-Region team last year, and is also on the NFHCA player to watch list as well. And she scored one of those 2 goals against Syracuse on Sunday. Well, a brand new surface put down here at Fairfield University prior to the start of this season. Construction began all the way back in March of this year, and it was ready to go right before the team got here for a preseason. A new AstroTurf Polygrass Paris GT, which is the same surface that you saw in the Paris 24 Olympics last year. But the teams are ready to go. Referee needed to grab a game ball. That will usually help. It's going to be Villanova going from right to left on your screen. In the white jerseys, Fairfield in the black with the red numbers from left to right. And we're underway as an aerial from the Wildcats will be sent out into the far corner of the possession to Fairfield. The starters for Villanova, who again last year a 10-win season under Joni Millhouse, over 3 decades, the head coach of Villanova, not too many wins away from 300 in her career as well. Sending out this team, we mentioned Ava Borkowski wears the number 1 jersey. Jane Bresnahan wears number 3. Ashton Odiorn, one of the couple of players from North Carolina transferring to Villanova, she wears number 4. Maeve Boston wears 7. Patty Froelich wears a Esme DeLongo, wears the number 9 jersey. Molly Zimmerman wears 17. Gemma Lysat wears 22, and Barrett Trigg 23. In goal is Maddie Sears, one of a couple of players on this Villanova roster, which was named to the Field Hockey Analyst D1 watch list. Possession to Villanova in front of us here, and it will go all the way back. Looking at the Fairfield starters, Peyton Ron once again in goal, the grad student from Orange. with the goals against at 3.5. A chance now for Villanova on the attack as Trigg sends it into the circle, swept across, and stopped well by Alice Peferi and scrambled out to safety. This Villanova team who were outscored in their 2 games, the exact same score line that Fairfield were outscored in over last weekend, playing their 2nd consecutive team that made it to the NCAA tournament last year. Fairfield winning the Northeast Conference, and then a gut-wrenching loss in the opening round of the NCAA tournament. They led against Delaware down in North Carolina, leading all the way up until the final seconds of the 4th quarter. Had a goal actually wiped off the board, and then lost to the Blue Hens in extra time. The turnover in the midfield, ball played to Colleen Finnan at the edge of the circle, but well stopped there by Catherine Fitzgerald, and the junior will break out here. Fitzgerald, one of the players that, in speaking with Laura Gebhardt yesterday in a long chat with her, saying has been really instrumental to how this Fairfield team has brought in this new culture, this new work ethic. As Alex Senior, well, she got tripped up for a moment, but Connie Hoffman able to win possession back, driving on the end line, switches it across, and the shot is blocked. Good save by Sears in goal. And it'll stay with Fairfield as it's brought out back to the 23. Really good chance for the Stags right on top of goal, but the junior from Avondale, Pennsylvania, had 4 saves in each of the 2 games last weekend, coming up with the first moment. The rest of the Fairfield starters, by the way, didn't have a chance really to open it up as Villanova got themselves in the circle as Nor Hellman enters and then exits. Alex Senior wears 1. Camille Perloff wears 10 as this is sent across. Senior battling for it. It looked like it's going to be walked out and cleared away. Good stand by the visitors. Camille Perloff wears 10, Nor Hellman's 12, Catherine Fitzgerald 14, Catalina Ness 16, Connie Hoffman wears 17. The first-year Kaylin Fogelson, who had her first career goal last weekend against Syracuse, wears 18. Pilar Mengani in the back 19, Alice Peferi 21, who had one of the assists against Syracuse, and then Cortland Schumacher wears 24, another player that Coach Gebhardt was really high on in terms of her commitment on the field as well as the leadership that she provides both on and off of it. Someone that just sets the standards, and Coach was saying, even the little things, sprinting off the field, playing every practice possession, every sequence as if it is a game sequence. That's something that really can see the work ethic from this Fairfield team that they're going to try and bring to. And what also Coach was saying was that you honor the past as well. What Jackie Kane did for this Fairfield team, you use that and you build off of it and see what can come from it next. As Alex Senior's into the circle, try to square it across, and it's going to be a corner to come. First opportunity for Fairfield. Fairfield, a team that had a lot of success off penalty corners last season, now a chance for the APC to go to work here with 2 goals on Sunday. And again, you talk about it's a small sample size, but what Syracuse did on Friday against Lock Haven, outscoring them 15, not shooting, outscoring them 15-0. The fact that Fairfield put up a great fight against a team that made it to the NCAA tournament last year and converted a couple of these APCs. You're happy about that, and you build from it here to this weekend. It's going to be Alice Peferi who will insert. Number of familiar faces around the circle for the Stags as Nora Hellemans and Catalina Ness at the top of the circle, and it goes short to Mengati, who sweeps it in, and it's gone in! She does it again. Pilar Mengati strikes early in Fairfield, right in front. Not even 4 minutes gone here in this quarter. Yeah, there's not really much stopping that. The senior from Madrid, now 11 goals in a Fairfield jersey. And sometimes you don't need to do anything too fancy. Get it to one of your best shooters on the circle and let her go to work. So Fairfield getting the opening strike. Mengani from Peferi. That's the combination that linked up last week. Didn't look like there was a touch in the circle, just by the keeper, Sears. And Hoffman will pull the strings in the midfield now with Mengani and Hellemans. And something that Fairfield will look to do over the course of the season, their first year under Laura Gebhardt, as well as assistant coach Kaylin Long, is really have the onus on putting the pressure on their opposition and forcing them to mistakes, forcing the tempo just to be raised, and something that they already have is outstanding ability to build out of the back, both with their just pure defensive abilities as well as having their back three string together passes. Senior now at the edge of the circle. Defended by Boston. Senior able to get a step pass, but intercepted well. But anyways, yeah, so what Fairfield wants to be doing is just force their opponents into specific areas to win possession high up the field and then turn defense immediately into attack. And you can see right there, Camille Perloff doing ever so well to win possession. Now Connie Hoffman. With that being said, it's not so much reckless pace that Fairfield want to play with. It can understand at times to adapt, slow things down, pick pace up when it needs to be there as well, but force opponents really to not have a whole lot of time with it and to breathe easy when in possession. And occasionally you can use that with counter pressing, but just have everyone surround the ball and turn defense into attack. That's where things are going to really prove for the Stags over the course of the season. And speaking with Coach Gebhardt, again, appreciative of the time that she gave to me yesterday. It's one of those things where it took a while for everyone to kind of understand what everyone wants to do, and that's from coaches, the expectation of players, and the players, the expectation of what the coaches want to do, and having that give and take. And what she was really admiring about is the ability that the players had open communication and were willing to share their thoughts and understand the styles and the systems that they want to play in. That's why even just in game 3 you could already start to see some of the principles going to work, as great skill work by Fogelson as she sends that into the circle. Senior brings it down and it goes in. Alex Senior in her senior year gets Fairfield a quick 2-0 lead. It was the work of Kaylin Fogelson to turn it around and fire it into the area, and that's what you love to see if you're a fan of the Stags. And that's something that Coach Gebhardt wanted as well. Create chances from the run of play, and you got one there. On the opposite side here for Villanova, boy, it's one of those situations right now where you're trying to understand what just happened to you. The Stags getting themselves in shape defensively and then turning defense into attack. Miscue in the back by Mengati, and now a chance here for the Wildcats just to maybe take a little bit of a breath as they get into the attacking third with Evelyn O'Neill. So with Alex Senior, has been waiting 3 years to say this, the senior gets goal number 19 in her career, and now game 60 in a Stags jersey, a player that had 5 goals and 3 assists last year. Garnering second team all-conference accolades, first team in the 2023 season. Once again, good work by Fitzgerald on the opposite side of the field. Ultimately, it was Amy Lagoza, took a little bit of a high stick there. It seems to be okay. Congratulations to Amy, by the way, who was recently announced a couple of days ago has been selected to the USA Under-21 Junior Women's National Team camp. All the very best to her, the first year from Downingtown, Pennsylvania. An interception for the Wildcats, but again, O'Neill being hustled and hurried, that time by Cortland Schumacher, the junior from Newtown Square, Pennsylvania, was really enjoying the progress that she made on the field all throughout her sophomore season. And Coach Gebhardt was saying, yeah, and expect more of that to come this year, as now we're starting to see the leadership abilities coming to the equal amount of growth that we saw from her on-field play last year. This is Amanda Dressel, sophomore from Yardley, Pennsylvania, into the circle. Defended well, though. There's an advantage being played for a moment. The referee will pull that back. But, yeah, Fairfield, a number of circle entries here already in the game's first 9 minutes. You can see this high line of pressure. So Fairfield, 6 attacking players, both their 3 forward line and 3 midfield line, pressed high up the field. And that also allows the 4 defensive-minded players even to press that line further. In fact, it forces Villanova to turn it over, passing it beyond their own end line, so it'll come back out to the 23. Fairfield rolling the substitutions as well. Autumn Bardish I saw entering the field of play a couple of moments ago. And Gotti all the way to this near side, swept back towards the circle. Schumacher had it and then lost it. And now Colleen Finnan wins a whistle. Junior from Mullica Hill, New Jersey. One of a couple of players that was named to the Field Hockey Analyst D1 watch list. Both the Field Hockey Analyst and the NFHCA both released watch lists. Also appreciate the Field Hockey Analyst, who does an outstanding job covering the sport at all levels. Also had a first year, a rookie group to watch over the course of this year. Fairfield's Kalen Fogelson was one of those players. Also a couple of players for Villanova on that list as well, including Largoza, who we mentioned earlier. Pass intended for Connie Hoffman, too strong, but Alex Sr. to win it back in a good position. Here's Autumn Bardish, in her second season with the program, but in her senior year. Norwalk, started her career with Merrimack, also in the NEC. It's a possession back to Fairfield. They're going to attack quickly. A senior, lovely stick work, gets a shot off, good save, but it's coming back out. Foul came after the save, so Senior gets the look, and it'll be back over to Villanova. Did we get our first green card? We did get a green card. This is going to be, or no, actually not. It is not a green card. Check that. It's a change of goalie. A new keeper coming on here. This is the first year from Germany in Sophie Volker. My apologies, it looked like for a second the official kind of had this odd angle from the broadcast position, so I thought for a second it was a card that came out, but Johnny Milhouse polling Maddie Sears just 11 minutes into this contest and putting in a first year who played for Germany under 21s and also in the Bundesliga for, that's one of the top leagues in the world actually, but Vocal, who played 10 minutes against Maryland on Sunday, now back in here. It's a bit of a trial by fire moment. Curious is, and this is just from my perspective here, with this high line of contention, is almost counter-pressing and heavy, gritty style, and that's the word that Coach Gebhardt used pretty frequently in my chat with her yesterday. How often Fairfield are going to be rotating their numbers, and they've already seen about 5-6 players come off the bench, and of course roll-on, roll-off subs in this sport, but going deep into their bench rather early, and just it's one of those things, if you have the high energy style, you're going to need depth and length from your depth. The turnover on the back by Froelich is Riley Leloup with the interception. Riley, a great year last year, goal scoring, co-best on the team with 7 goals, alongside Connie Hoffman. Kylie Corcoran had a very solid season last year in her debut campaign. The ball taken off of her, but it comes back to Bardish. Hoffman, 2.5 minutes ago, looking for a circle entry. Defended well, however. In fact, almost double team, nearly 3 defenders, forcing Hoffman to deflect it out. It will stay with Fairfield. 2 goals thus far in the opening quarter. One off of an attack penalty corner from Pilar Mengani, and then Alex Senior from the run of play. Here is Senior. Dispossessed though, but Villanova cannot clear their lines. There's just wave after wave of attack from Fairfield. Foul on Boston. Again, every field player for Fairfield inside the attacking half, as now Nor Hellman's a chance to trot forward here. This is about as good as you want it here from a home opening perspective. Get the early lead and just dictate how the possession goes and the tempo of it. even with Benghazi nearly losing the handle, almost found a pass to Lulu right at the edge of the circle. I think for Joni Millhouse, she wants that horn to sound, get to that quick break between the first and the second quarter just to reset some things. Hoffman losing out. That's Ashton Odiorn. Played 8 games for North Carolina last season, and she also got the feature in the first round contest against the University of Delaware. Part of a couple of national championships, both playing with and playing under the direction of Aaron Matson. Fairfield are just going to take the sting out of this one here and get them into the break between the quarters. And the horn is going to sound. That's going to do it. So Fairfield, after 15 minutes of action here from University Field, they lead Villanova 2-0. We'll be back in a moment on the Stag Sports Network.
Illicit Brewing Company in Fairfield, Connecticut has everything you need for a night out. Dozens of house-brewed draft beers, guest taps, a full bar, live entertainment, dozens of TVs to catch the game, a speakeasy and game room, brew pub style food offerings, and more. This commercial isn't long enough to show you everything Illicit has to offer. So come see it for yourself. Illicit Brewing, 111 Black Rock Turnpike in Fairfield. IllicitBrewing.com.
Why is the U.S. Ski and Snowboard team proud to have Headlam as their official non-alcoholic beer sponsor? Because when you're bombing down a mountain at 100 miles per hour with only spandex and lip balm for protection, you definitely don't want to buzz. You want cold, crisp, great-tasting American beer without the booze. Because staying upright is kinda important, right? Headlam, brewed to be wild.
Welcome back here to University Field. JJ Duke with you. Thanks again for spending your Friday here with us. Apologies if there's some technical issues that we're having right now. Trying to work through it here on this home opener at University Field, but there's been no issues with that group right there. Fairfield off to a couple of quick goals, one off of an attack penalty corner from Pilar Mengadi, and then Alex Senior picking up her first goal of the season for Mengadi, her second. Villanova to trot back out, and for head coach Joni Millhouse, who was already happy about the fact that she didn't have to go coach up against her daughter this year for the first time in the past 4, as Madison graduating after last year and part of that championship winning side, but now dealing with a whole host of new issues as Fairfield dominated the first 15 minutes from the moment go, forcing a goalkeeping change with Sophie Vogel having to come in about midway through that first period. And that's I'm not going to dub it heavy metal style of hockey, but it's certainly an aggressive style that the Stags want to be playing and forcing pressure from their opponents. It'll be a whistle and a chance now for the visitors to break quickly. This ball sent to the circle by Maeve Boston. And it'll be deflected behind by Alice Pifferi. That came off of Barrett Trigg's stick. Fairfield out shooting Villanova 4-0 in that first quarter. One corner, and it went in for the Stags, and Just the one saving it from Maddie Sears in just a handful of minutes, but an opportunity now for the visitors to have some success down that right side, but intercepted well by Fairfield, and Kaylin Fogelson had it and lost it. And here comes Maeve Boston. Advantage being played. It will just be outside the circles. Player that we really haven't had a chance to say a whole lot of her name is Ava Borkowski. Tied for 6th in the Big East last year in goals with 10. Had 2 in the season opening 3-2 loss at James Madison. That was a neutral site game at Maryland. But hasn't had any service. Another good stop by Mengati. Trying to link up with Camille Perlov, but Villanova back to it, albeit only just for a moment. Good press, though, from Eileen Mazzaro. Villanova player wearing number 20, senior from Pelham, New York. Match 31 in her Wildcats career. Jane Bresnahan gets it out wide. Good chance here for a circle entry, but Fairfield does ever so well. That's Alice Peferi to stop it and draw the whistle. Really well done there from the senior. Alice, one of the top assist getters from a year ago, though Fairfield having some issues building out of the back. Great press once again from Mazzaro, but Peferi with 11 assists, just the 6th player in Fairfield program history to have a 10-plus assist season, and led the conference in helpers. And a lot of that came from the fact that she was the insert, the main insert off corners. You can bet that there's a check mark going into Laura Gephardt's list of score from the run of play. She said in the game specifically against Syracuse, where they build up a lot of chances from the run of play, but just, in her words, were a little shy in pulling the trigger and getting shots off. She wants that creative flow from the offense, but not just to look solely for attack penalty corners, which of course in the sport you need to have that. But can you also be, again, scrappy and gritty in front of goal? I mean, I didn't have a counter for the time she said gritty, but you can understand, just wants almost that blue collar mentality of get into the circle to get circle entries, get shots on, look for rebounds off the pad of the goalie. You do all that, you're often going to have success, because either you're going to score or there's going to be a corner that comes from it, because the defense can't clear it away. Fitzgerald not able to keep that on. You could also see as well with the new surface that was laid down here at University Field, where it's a little bit closer now to where it was. You see there's that more artificial turf that's separating the playing field from the fans. That's for the fan safety over there. So yes, it does, from years past, it is a playing surface a bit closer to us. Also part of the upgrades to the facility, you have a true kind of dugout area below us. Coaching staff for the Stags asking for the ball to be reversed to the left side of the field, and it is so. Fogelson not able to keep that on, and player that was highly touted coming in just down the road at Norwalk High School, 4-time All-State selection in the state of Connecticut, really has hit the ground running to begin the season. And here comes that counter press from Perlov, and it's well implemented there as Odiorn puts it into touch. But Ness trying to get it into the circle quickly, and it was fended off well. It's Colleen Finnan, 4 goals last year for Villanova, draws the whistle, and a chance now for the visitors to get higher up the field. It's a better start, though, from Villanova here in the second quarter. A team that is going to be playing an absolute gauntlet of a schedule. This is the second of 5 NCAA tournament teams that they're going to be playing over the course of this season. They also play both finalists from last year's national championship. More on that in a second as Perloff gets into the circle, but great defending. Really well done by Gemma Lysott, the junior from Christchurch, New Zealand. Veteran in that back line. Got a second team in the Big East selection last year. Career that's now gone 36 matches with 5 goals and 11 assists. Looking what Villanova has coming up this year, they play the national champions in Northwestern, play the runners-up St. Joe's, both of which are at home. Then you have Maryland, Fairfield, and then the champions of the Big East in UConn. Good run. It's going to be a corner. Really well done there from Catalina Ness, recognizing the open space in front of her and just driving. And well, Fairfield only got a couple of corners in their match against Syracuse convert. They actually had 8 in the loss against Lafayette, but have been much more effective in front of goal off APCs. Let's see what they draw up here. We saw a little bit of a different routine in the first goal of 2 against Syracuse, or no, excuse me, the second goal I should say of 2, where it was the Fogelson goal. Little interchange from the insert. It's going to be Schumacher who will insert this. And Fogelson was able to take a rebound off of a deflected shot in front and lift it over the goalie's pads and in. Schumacher to take. Goes short again to Mangati, reverses it back. Schumacher tried to lift it over Vogel, but it's saved. Nice little set play there, but Sophie Vogel did ever so well just to read that quickly and snuff it out. And a break here for the visitors. Colleen Finnan, it's one-on-one with Nor Hellemans. Finnan trying to round the edge for pace. And it's going to be a corner. Well, it's a credit to what Fairfield did defensively, but ever so much more impressive for the junior Colleen Finnan, able to ride the challenge. Referee playing the advantage. And an APC now for the visitors. It's their first. So let's see what Villanova draw up here from their first set pieces. It's going to be the number 17, Molly Zimmerman, who will insert. Sophomore from Landisburg, PA. First team All-State in high school in her senior season. Regular in the lineup for Joni Millhouse. Let's see what Fairfield can do here defensively with Peyton Ron, who has had little to do in this game so far. Insert to the top of the circle, reverse near side, shot, didn't get all the way through, rebound that comes to Barrett Schrag and it's knocked wide. Addie Froelich was the one that had the initial shot towards goal, but never really got there. Fairfield do well on their defensive penalty corner. And that's something that Syracuse really took advantage of on Sunday. I mean, this is a team in Syracuse that nationally ranked. Probably going to be more interesting to see what they have coming this weekend in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. We'll be playing a couple of nationally ranked teams here this weekend, but Fairfield at times did really well. It was actually fun to go back and watch that broadcast on the ACC Network Extra, because Syracuse have crowd mics behind both goals, so you actually can hear what Peyton Ron, the Fairfield goalie, was saying to her team to set up. The turnover now leads to a chance here for Senior, who enters the circle, shot deflected. Good recovery run by Lysot. I'll stay with Fairfield, but yeah, there's almost this cadence that Peyton had. And, for those that didn't play the sport, it would seem a little unfamiliar, alien-like, but going through the instructions for every person that was on that line, 4 defenders, and then all of a sudden you say, okay, lock in we go as this passes into the circle. Chance now for Hoffman, dispossessed well. Really well defended there. That looked like Evelyn O'Neill it was. I saw him once again. Pressured often. Alex Senior doing a lot of work from the front. And trying to see the different shapes that Fairfield have on their pressure defensively. Good work by Lalou, and taking a little bit of a stinger, but well worth it for the work that she's put in. So we saw earlier in this half where Fairfield have 6 players advance, dropped in a little bit with 4, so just one attacking midfielder helping out. Perloff, one of those players, now towards the edge of the circle. Fitzgerald can complete the switch if she wants to, but we'll just go back to Hellmans. Your score 2-0 to Fairfield. Goals in the first quarter, one off of AAPC from Pilar Mengati, then Alex Senior from the run of play. There has been a goalie change as well that came in the first quarter for Villanova, where Maddie Sears got pulled after conceding the second goal. Sophie Vogel in net for Villanova. Sears pretty much played every game last year. 1-7-6 goals against, turnover. Lalou trying to get it ahead. Kept on by Hoffman. Excuse me, Ness, now Hoffman. Hoffman turns it around, the shot over the mark. It was deflected, so it'll stay with Fairfield. But again, this was something that Coach Gebhardt was saying. She wants her team to be more proactive in the circle. Don't just look for a corner instantaneously. You can still be creative even in those tight areas. Look for shots, especially low off the pads, to generate those rebounds. Schumacher winds into the circle. Hoffman knocks it down. Chance! And it goes in! Camille Perloff in the right place. And Fairfield adds their lead in the second. And again, there comes back to the creativity that Fairfield was looking for in the attack. Generate chances into the circle and cash in on them. And it's 3 goals from 3 different players. Connie Hoffman will get the assist on it. Game number 45 for the senior out of Dusseldorf, Germany. Now 9 assists to go along with her 11 goals, and for Perloff, who had 3 goals last year, including in this fixture at Villanova last year. And it's something about seeing the Wildcats white and blue that gets the offense going for her. Player that was a regular coming in off the bench last year and taking that next step, the Massachusetts native. But it has been all Fairfield here over the course of this first 25 plus minutes. Little foray a couple of minutes ago from Villanova, but not as good as gold for Coach Gebhardt and Kaylin Long. Both coming in over the winter last year. Again, because of the fact that the surface was being worked on, had to practice pretty much almost exclusively away from campus, but having those opportunities to come together. And even she said in the early part of this season, that kind of getting to know each other phase is still on, and a lot of firsts. First road trip together, first game together, first practice together, all those things gotten out of the way, and Fairfield looks like a really cohesive unit. As Amanda Dressel, drop pass in a dangerous area, but when you're up 3, you don't mind it. As Corcoran gets whistled for the foul. That's a bit wasteful there from Finnan. But again, this is where that pressure from Fairfield is coming into great fruition. Forcing turnovers, forcing misplays. Fairfield out shooting Villanova 8-1. 5 of which are shots on goal. Looking for more. Right before the start of the second half, we'll check in on some of the scores from elsewhere in the Northeast Conference. In this, the second week of college field hockey. Only Ryder and St. Francis picking up wins last week in the NEC. Fairfield perhaps 30-plus minutes away from joining that, as Villanova asking for a whistle on Schumacher. Ultimately, it's going to be balled back over to the Wildcats anyways. For a Villanova team that was kind of lacked consistent postseason play over the last decade or so. In fact, actually close to 20 years where there are regulars in the Big East tournament, but since being a semifinalist in 2006, they've only gotten to the 4-team tournament 4 times. They nearly knocked off Liberty in their last Big East tournament appearance 2 years ago. The Liberty team has certainly made great strides in the Big East over the last 5-6 years. Not just a number to make up the numbers, but a team that has really thrown it right to the likes of UConn and Old Dominion. Temple have also made great strides. And then it's Villanova and Providence usually kind of fighting for that last playoff spot. And Schumacher does well to keep that on as Fairfield complete the switch. Now they go back through the midfield. Hoffman with Cortland into the circle, sends it across. It was to Dressel, but it's off the mark. I mean, even with that, taking any sort of tinted colored glasses off, that was pretty liquid from Fairfield, going side to side, then reversing it back to the middle, creating pockets of space. And Amanda Dressel, I mean, maybe that pass a little bit too quick for her in terms of realizing how open she was in front of goal, but Fairfield just carved Villanova apart in that sequence. As we enter the 30th and final minute here of this first half, Fairfield could have gotten the advantage, but the referee will whistle it back here. Good run from Corcoran, almost linking up with Connie Hoffman. Actually, it's a whistle for Fairfield. I thought for a second there that was outside the 23 and could have broken, but the referee's going to ask for that ball to be placed right back inside the line. One last ball into the circle for the Stags. There it is. It was a decent area, but just too strong for Dressel, who's gotten to a couple of good pockets of space. The sophomore out of Yardley, PA, didn't see the field at all last year, but gotten some pretty regular run over the course of these first 3 games on the season. Villanova will likely just take it into the corner here and get into halftime. As I say that, Fogelson almost took it off the player, but the horn sounds, and right about the best 30 minutes you can ever ask for a home opener for Fairfield, as after 30 minutes of play, Stags lead 3-0. We will step aside for halftime, be back in a little bit. You're watching Fairfield Field Hockey on the Stag Sports Network.
In an unpredictable world where every moment matters, imagine the peace of mind that comes from knowing your loved ones, lifestyle, and business are all protected. At Meridian Risk Management, we offer tailored solutions, whether for personal, commercial, or benefits insurance. We are here to safeguard what you value most, so you can embrace every adventure ahead. Meridian Risk Management, because your legacy deserves protection.
Illicit Brewing Company in Fairfield, Connecticut has everything you need for a night out. Dozens of house-brewed draft beers, guest taps, a full bar, live entertainment, dozens of TVs to catch the game, a speakeasy and game room, brew pub style food offerings, and more. This commercial isn't long enough to show you everything Illicit has to offer, so come see it for yourself. Illicit Brewing, 111 Black Rock Turnpike in Fairfield. IllicitBrewing.com.
Why is the U.S. Ski and Snowboard team proud to have Headlam as their official non-alcoholic beer sponsor? Because when you're bombing down a mountain at 100 miles per hour with only spandex and lip balm for protection, you definitely don't want to buzz. You want cold, crisp, great-tasting American beer without the booze. Because staying upright is kinda important, right? Headlam, brewed to be wild.
In an unpredictable world where every moment matters, imagine the peace of mind that comes from knowing your loved ones, lifestyle, and business are all protected. At Meridian Risk Management, we offer tailored solutions, whether for personal, commercial, or benefits insurance. We are here to safeguard what you value most, so you can embrace every adventure ahead. Meridian Risk Management, because your legacy deserves protection.
Illicit Brewing Company in Fairfield, Connecticut has everything you need for a night out. Dozens of house-brewed draft beers, guest taps, a full bar, live entertainment, dozens of TVs to catch the game, a speakeasy and game room, brew pub style food offerings, and more. This commercial isn't long enough to show you everything Illicit has to offer, so come see it for yourself. Illicit Brewing, 111 Black Rock Turnpike in Fairfield. IllicitBrewing.com.
Why is the U.S. ski and snowboard team proud to have Headlam as their official non-alcoholic beer sponsor? Because when you're bombing down a mountain at 100 miles per hour with only spandex and lip balm for protection, you definitely don't want to buzz. You want cold, crisp, great-tasting American beer without the booze. Because staying upright is kinda important, right? Headlam, brewed to be wild.
In an unpredictable world where every moment matters, imagine the peace of mind that comes from knowing your loved ones, lifestyle, and business are all protected. At Meridian Risk Management, we offer tailored solutions, whether for personal, commercial, or benefits insurance. We are here to safeguard what you value most, so you can embrace every adventure ahead. Meridian Risk Management, because your legacy deserves protection.
Illicit Brewing Company in Fairfield, Connecticut has everything you need for a night out. Dozens of house brewed draft beers, guest taps, a full bar, live entertainment, dozens of TVs to catch the game, a speakeasy and game room, brew pub style food offerings, and more. This commercial isn't long enough to show you everything Illicit has to offer. So come see it for yourself. Illicit Brewing, 111 Black Rock Turnpike in Fairfield. IllicitBrewing.com.
Why is the U.S. ski and snowboard team proud to have Headlam as their official non-alcoholic beer sponsor? Because when you're bombing down a mountain at 100 miles per hour with only spandex and lip balm for protection, you definitely don't want to buzz. You want cold, crisp, great-tasting American beer without the booze. Because staying upright is kinda important, right? Headlam, brewed to be wild.
Welcome back here to University Field. Just about ready to go for the third quarter between Fairfield and Villanova, and what a first 30 minutes it was. Fairfield striking twice inside the first 10 minutes of the match, actually first 6 minutes of the match, with Pilar Mangani on an attack penalty corner in the 5th minute, and then less than 2 minutes after that went in Alex Senior getting her first of the season. Camille Perloff also finding the back of the cage in the 25th minute as Fairfield outshot Villanova 8-1. You know, for the coaching staff, it's putting 60 minutes together, not just 30. Rest of the stats for you: 2 saves for Villanova goalies, 1 for Maddie Sears, who was pulled after 10 minutes. Then Sophie Vogel came up with a save in the second quarter. Fairfield with 2 penalty corners to Villanova's 1. So the whole host of games going on in NEC field hockey today. One score in: Sacred Heart down in our nation's capital, knocking off Georgetown 3-2 in double overtime. Celia Benson scoring the winner in the 76th minute as Sacred Heart scored, how about this, with 5 seconds to go in regulation to send it into the extra period. So Sacred Heart with the victory, the champions of the league from a couple of years ago, picking up their first result of the season. One other game that I have in progress right now, it's a cross in Long Island, Ryder leading Hofstra 2-1, a goal and an assist from Ange Borso and from Meg Normile. Jade Regnart in goal, making 4 saves for the Bronx. And then there's a lot of games coming up later today. Again, this is going off the Northeast Conference website, where LIU is up the road in New Haven to take on Yale. St. Francis is at Bucknell in a Central Pennsylvania derby, and then Wagner is at Lehigh at 6 o'clock. Also, Mercyhurst is at Central Michigan, and New Haven is set 4 p.m. at LaSalle, but I do not have any updates from there so far. That will have been an interesting halftime team talk for Joni Millhouse after half that never really got going. There were some moments. There was one attack penalty corner, but just was not much to build on. But you can reset. You can go again for Villanova. After today, they have a whole week off before they take on LaSalle. And that'll be at home, their first game at the Proving Grounds. Actually, no, they do have a score through 1 between LaSalle and New Haven. It is LaSalle that leads 1-0. Fairfield in the dark jerseys going from right to left on the screen. Villanova in the whites from left to right. JJ Duke here with you. Thanks for spending your Friday here with us on the Stags Sports Network. The first of 2 home games for the Stags on the weekend, as Fairfield will take on Lehigh on Sunday. Unfortunately, I will not be here for that one. It's going to be Cam Manna, who I believe is going to be on commentary for that one. Also breaks my heart that I'm going to be missing out seeing Lehigh, because Kelsey Likens, the head coach, who was at one point on this very Stag Sports Network for, well, probably the biggest game in Fairfield field hockey history, their lone NCAA tournament victory in an opening round game. One that will be lived for infamy for many reasons, including, are we still defrosting from that game? The answer is yes, 6 years later. And then Fairfield are going to be on the road for the better part of a month before their first league home match against Sacred Heart. I mean, you could almost build the Fairfield field hockey home schedule into blocks of 3. You have this home weekend, a home weekend in the first weekend of October with Sacred Heart and New Haven, and then 4 straight to finish out the season. Ryder, LIU, UConn making a trip down here for the first time in ages. And then St. Francis in the last ever meeting between the 2 programs before St. Francis transfers down to the Division III ranks. A little bit of high pressure coming from Villanova. It's a bit of delayed press, though. The coaching staff, the Wildcats, urging players to get up the field. But the messaging from Coach Gebhardt and Coach Long is just, reset, think of it like 0-0. Play within yourself, don't do anything too crazy, but if you find the opportunities to attack, don't just hold back and say, well, we're 3-0 up. No, you're playing the full 60 minutes, which is what Pilar Mangani does here, trying to find Catherine Fitzgerald, be a whistle. Mangani deflects into the circle. It will stay with Fairfield back at the 23. Yes, Northeast Conference now going up to a 10-team circuit with the addition of New Haven. So 9 regular season games. The first league game is actually September the 19th. Fairfield in a return matchup of the NEC Championship game against Wagner at Wagner. Stags will play their first 3 in the league away from home, with a New England weekend with Merrimack and Stonehill to follow. Also, Fairfield hosting the NEC Championships for the first time. That'll be in the first full weekend of November, so postseason hockey coming to Stags country. And why not? This beautiful new facility here at University Field. A whistle on Villanova's Colleen Finnan will give an opportunity for Fairfield. And Gotti. Pass was knocked down. Pass that was intended for Camille Perloff, one of the 3 Fairfield goal scorers, intercepted. But again, here comes that high press, and it's Perloff. And that's a knack of a player that will always just continue to hunt the ball. If you lose it, you try and get it back immediately, as she is the apex of this press. Villanova trying to break out. They will, at least by way of the ball deflected out of play. Off the stick of Finnan. Colleen Finnan in her first 2 seasons with Villanova, coming exclusively off the bench, but 3 consecutive starts now for the New Jersey native. For a Villanova team that did see 7 players depart, and all key players as well, including Megan Mitchell, who arguably will go down as one of the greatest attacking players in program history. 3rd ever player in Villanova field hockey history to score 50 goals in her career. There's Fogelson to influence a near turnover. And also Sabine de Ruyter, the first team Big East all-conference selection, with 15 goals to lead the conference, and then a number of key players as well. Ultimately, Villanova graduating 6 starters and 29 of the team's 47 goals last year. So you know there's going to be some growing pains, but the last class of those COVID year players. A big ball forward, intercepted well by Mengati, and now she can start the attack on her own here. Pilar, great ball into the circle, just too strong for Fogelson. Oh, that's really unlucky. Really unlucky there, as Pilar does ever so well to create that opportunity. And you know what? If you have that space fired into the circle, and this is again going back to what the messaging for this team is, press the issue, force mistakes from your opponents, and then ultimately, if you can cash in from the run of play, be dynamic in those areas. You can see all the people lined up across on the opposite side of the field. Really nice turnout here for Fairfield field hockey home opener. It's the 3rd fall sport to play their home opener. Volleyball, who's actually going to be in action down in Villanova as we speak. They're taking on High Point right now, and then they take on Villanova tomorrow. Volleyball's first home game will be on Wednesday of next week. The matchup of 2 NCAA tournament teams from last year's Yale come to town for also the first time in seemingly a long time. That ball, nearly got through. So Riley Lulu in that occasion, perfectly placed. Just, I don't think she reacted quickly enough for that ball that skirted past a couple of Villanova defenders. Read that one well, and she might have been in that situation. And Cortland Schumacher, how about that? Carrying that forward now into the attack. Has 3 players into the circle. That was deflected. It will stay with the Stags. Pass fired into Riley, not able to take it in, and now a chance here to break for Borkowski. And Ava finds a great pass out wide. Barrett Trigg ahead, has an option in the middle of the circle. Great play, though, by Hellman. Does concede the corner, but you know what, again, has to be in the right place. Otherwise, that was a tap-in for Largoza. I mean, I know they speak about it often enough in soccer where you have to take one for the team in that situation, but Nora basically had to do whatever she could to deny that pass across goal. Comes across goal, pretty much a tap-in for Amy. But now an attack penalty corner to come here for Villanova, and it's a way back into it as we've hit the halfway mark of this third quarter. Molly Zimmerman once again will insert. She did on the lone APC in the first half. And a chance here for Peyton Ron in goal to set her defense. And Villanova on the board. Gemma Lysot with the goal. Pretty simple passing sequence there, and the junior from New Zealand getting goal number 6 of her career. And Villanova found a way back into this. So both teams converting on an APC here in this contest. And for Villanova, a team that has generated now 9 over the course of this season, that comes off of a great breakout from their own end. Maybe a way back into this. The referee is going to ask for the ball to be just restarted in the right place. So the goal scorer, Gemma Lysot, as that pass actually deflected to a favorable stick. And Erin Mitchell, I spoke about our older sister a couple of moments ago, but Erin now joining the team. First team All-State in high school at Villa Maria Academy. That means just going to be another few more years of seeing the surname Mitchell likely on the goal scoring sheets for Villanova. Chance for her maybe here in the second half to make a little bit of a push forward. Also seeing Alex Jordan in for Fairfield. Wears number 4. Freshman from Maryland. Fairfield once again do well to at least slow down. It's a foul though on the Stags. Under 6 minutes to go here in this third quarter, and Jordan able to at least stop the pass into the circle. And Hellemans comfortably and with a lot of composure able to clear her lines. Now here comes, well, Fairfield looked to have started a break down the right side. Corcoran able to intercept, but goes through the player. Stay with Villanova, who've gotten a little wind in their sails here in the last few minutes. It was a bit of a tired pass, though. It was Beatrice Lovinic with the interception. Again, the Stags really diving into their reserves here. Seen in total 6 different players come in from the starting unit. Foul on senior. Corcoran with the interception. Good work there from Cortland. She's got options to either side. Goes out to Jordan. She's got a player, Fogelson, in the circle. Lovinic also late to arrive as well. It'll stay with Fairfield as comes back to the 23. And Villanova getting on the board a couple of minutes ago from Gemma Lysot. Give the assist of 44. That's Carrie Worley. It was Fairfield circle entry. Ball played across. Advantage. And it's going to be a stroke. Penalty stroke coming for Fairfield. There is a push from behind. And a chance for the Stags to retake a 3-goal lead. Good ball movement to this near side. Yeah, I'm just watching it back now. It was a push in the back. I think as our officials? Are they going to be having at least a conversation, or perhaps is there going to be a referral coming here? There could be, and yes, it does look like Villanova are going to be asking for a referral. We'll just confirm with the officials what the on-field call was. Now, the irony of where the video is for the officials, it is literally right behind me. So there's going to be a moment where I'm going to have to basically kind of talk about absolutely nothing but the match just to not influence the call, but referees. So just to confirm, it is the on-field call is a penalty stroke, and it's a referral coming from Villanova. So this does give us a chance here to check in on some of the scores from elsewhere, or at least the games that are just upcoming. LIU away at Yale. That game just actually started. Same could be said for St. Francis and Bucknell. Wagner still yet to get underway. We know LaSalle leads New Haven 1-0. That was after one quarter. And the Hofstra-Ryder game, which started simultaneous to us at 4 p.m., diving up these scores. You see Joni Millhouse talking to her group out there. Maybe just resetting. And it's still 2-1 to Ryder, with about 20 minutes to go down there in Hempstead. You see the longtime head coach of Villanova is currently climbing up the charts in all-time wins, 285 of which, but those 285 are still 10th right now and active. That's Division I field hockey coaches as the officials have left the building. I think it looks like this call is going to be confirmed. So Villanova loses their referral. And a stroke to come here for Fairfield. Now, Fairfield are 0 for 1 this season. It was Catalina Ness who took the stroke. That was against Lafayette. And Fairfield have made a change. And it's going to be Alice Peferi who will take this. So for those unfamiliar, think the same thing like a penalty kick in soccer. But you don't have players crashing in for a rebound. But a chance now for Alice to give her team a 3-goal lead once again, going up against Sophie Vogel. Oh, what a save! Brilliant stop there from the freshman. And that was at a really difficult height as well. Vogel had to climb the ladder up to the far corner and parry that one away. Yeah, it's a good save. Keeper has to, in that case, with that pad, climb across the body and fight that one off. Can't really fault Peferi's effort there. Maybe, and this is maybe being tough on scrutinizing, but a little more into the corner, but ultimately from that distance and that height, you've done your job. It's just a great save. And now can Villanova build off of it here? And the response for Fairfield as well, not go down after missing a golden opportunity. Villanova with the lone goal here in the second half. I thought for a second that was going to be high on Lovinich, but it'll be a foul on Esme de Longa, sophomore from the Netherlands. As Fairfield making more changes. So Fairfield 0 for 2 on strokes this season. Peferi was 1 of 2 last year and actually scored against Wagner in the final. This time not to be, as it'll be Fairfield ball with about 2:50 to go here in the quarter. Fairfield with all field players in the attacking half. This gets knocked into the circle. Good stick to clear the lines from Eddie Froelich. Fairfield still hunting it back. Advantage in a corner. And really that's all due to the work of both Fogelson and Ness. And with Villanova now using their referral, they are at least asking the referees to have the umpires have a conversation here, but you only get one. If you get it right, you keep it. But Fairfield with a chance on an APC to restore the lead of 3 that they entered this quarter with. It will be Peferi to insert once again. Wasn't for the heroics of that player in the middle of your screen, Sophie Vogel, could be a different story right now. Coming up with a save on a stroke. And Fairfield have shown a couple of different routines here from this set piece. Catherine Fitzgerald is a short option, with Mengati now gone centrally alongside Alex Sr. Also keeping on Kaylin Fogelson at that far side, looking to crash at the post. Mengati just wide. She tried for that corner. The ball didn't quite settle for her, and narrowly missing the post with that one. Not a bad look from that spot. Now Villanova get away with it, and they've had to go a little bit back to the wall here in these last 4 minutes or so. But there's Fogelson once again. And you say this, and I know it's sometimes a little bit cliche, but you cannot fault the work ethic or effort of the Fairfield players here today. Even after conceding a goal, they continue to do the little things that Coach Gebhardt's been looking for. Be gritty in spots, jump passing routes, and just play forward. And that's something that often enough takes a little bit of time in terms of getting it instinctually within players, just to have that forward-thinking mentality and using the strengths they already have, which includes that distribution out of the back with the likes of Hellemans and Mengati. And now can they add that final piece to it? Not always just scoring for corners. Not to say that Fairfield didn't only score from corners last year, but it was a key part of their attack. Now can you get it all together? And we've seen moments where Fairfield have carved open chances from the run of play. Fogelson has gotten to the end line here on her own. Good defensive work again by Froelich. And Froelich actually had to time that right as Kaylin got through, but now a chance for Borkowski to break forward. As a player ahead in Finnan. Just one into the circle, but again, Hellemans, that's outstanding in her backtracking. And there's going to be a card coming as well. This is going to be a green card on Villanova's number 1, Ava Borkowski. So Fairfield will be up 2 minutes, up a player. Slight pause for putting the player onto the board, but Fairfield will have a player advantage going into that 4th quarter. And really, actually, for the Stags, it's almost something where they can diagram something from the restart. Either get that high press, or maybe here with 15 seconds left, get a ball into the circle, see if he can draw a corner from it. Hellemans thinking that, and it's going to work. It's going to find Senior with 8 seconds. Senior's got to be direct here, sweeps it across, deflected. Oh, it's coming out. The idea is right, execution not so, but Fairfield, they took a 3-goal lead into the quarter. They see Villanova pull one back through Gemma Lysott, but the Stags are up by 2 with 15 minutes left to play. You're watching Stag Sports Network.
Illicit Brewing Company in Fairfield, Connecticut has everything you need for a night out. Dozens of house-brewed draft beers, guest taps, a full bar, live entertainment, dozens of TVs to catch the game, a speakeasy, and game room. brew pub style food offerings, and more. This commercial isn't long enough to show you everything Illicit has to offer. So come see it for yourself. Illicit Brewing, 111 Black Rock Turnpike in Fairfield. IllicitBrewing.com.
Why is the U.S. ski and snowboard team proud to have Headlam as their official non-alcoholic beer sponsor? Because when you're bombing down a mountain at 100 miles per hour with only spandex and lip balm for protection, you definitely don't want to buzz. You want cold, crisp, great-tasting American beer without the booze. Because staying upright is kinda important, right? Headlam, brewed to be wild.
Well, the Forers go up. Fairfield leading by 3-1. You see also Villanova down Ava Borkowski for another minute 25 seconds due to a green card. The Stags on the attack right now. They did see a penalty stroke from Liche Peferi, saved brilliantly by Sophie Vogel. But the Stags right now trying to close out their first game at home, a place where they have had so much success ever since Fairfield leaving America East. You see that brain trust there of Dr. Nemec and Paul Schlickman, the president and director of athletics for Fairfield, putting the backing of this field hockey program. And what the Stags have done at home has been brilliant over the last decade. They've had winning seasons in 10 of their last 11 years, and the only time they actually didn't was in that first season I'm talking about in the stretch in 2015. But Fairfield also won the MAC title in that year when the MAC was still sponsoring the sport. Since the start of 2015, the Stags have a near 70% win percentage, 57-26. And it's much higher when you go into league play. But of course, game one on this new surface here at University Field, and a day where, well, after the conclusion of this game, the team from last year, the 2024 NEC champions, are going to get their championship rings. Trying to have that be a joyous occasion, or even more so joyous than what it was like in last November down in Staten Island. So Fairfield still up a player for another minute. Green card on Villanova's number 1, Ava Borkowski. As Mengotti will send it into the circle. Vogelson, senior, trying to bring it down, but it's going to come out. But Fairfield win it right back as Ness intercepts the pass, and she's got 2 in the circle. Ness brings it to the end line. Might have had a chance to get it off of her stick earlier, looking for a corner. And it's going to stay with Fairfield. Comes back to the 23. There's just 23 seconds left to go on the player advantage, but Fairfield certainly, with the player up, have made the most of it. Everything but scoring a goal. Peferi spins and twirls into the circle, sends it ahead, kicked away. Oh, it goes underneath the pad and in. Oh, it's a miscue from the back. This will go down as a Liche Peferi goal. And just a missed kick from Sophie Vogel. It's one in that situation. It does go player up because that comes on the green card. Villanova back to even strength now. But hey, I mean, it's kind of the running joke, right? You don't win the lottery without buying a ticket. You can't score without shooting. Sometimes all you have to do is just put it on frame. And it's one that kind of, for Sophie Vogel in this situation, is the referee's going to stop the clock here. There's going to be a card coming, a green card to Villanova's number 3. A 2-minute penalty to Jane Bresnahan. So Fairfield now back on the attack. Now the Stags just continuing to do what they have been doing, just playing on the offensive. So yeah, end all be all. Shoot the ball when you have the opportunity. If the keeper makes a mistake, unfortunately that was the case, you take it. Now for Villanova right now, I've seen crazier things happen most definitely in this sport. Oh, it's a lovely turn. Shot goes in. Oh, how bad. It's a rip from just the edge of the circle. Fairfield are going to be asking, though, for a referral. So it was Ava Borkowski that released this from the top of the circle. We're going to see this back on our end here. So I think the question is, from Fairfield making an immediate point to the referee, was that ball inside the circle? And I don't think that there was a deflection on the way through, so if it is, Borkowski gets the goal, which would be her third already of the season. Now, Villanova have lost their referral earlier in this game. Fairfield asking for it here. With the officials coming up to the technical area to have a look at this, we will, again, just confirm with the on-field. I believe the on-field call was good goal, and then a referral from Fairfield. Okay, so just conferring good goal, but the referral is coming for, did the player Borkowski shoot the ball outside the circle? You can see the Fairfield team right now huddling around Laura Gebhardt. After as quickly as they got a goal. The last thing you want to have is just conceding one. All right, so we're hearing that the call is confirmed. It is a good goal, and like Villanova, Fairfield will be losing the referral. So both teams are out of them here for the remainder of this game. Yeah, from our look, it was definitely close, but it was inside the circle. And Villanova now gets the final instruction from the referee, and Ava Borkowski now in a Villanova jersey getting her 13th goal. And this is a player that has played a grand total now of 20 games with the program. Also had an assist as well last year, so she's basically now a goal or an assist in 3 out of every 4 games that she's played with this program. After spending 3 seasons at North Carolina. Again, Fairfield's still playing up a player as Bresnahan sitting for a green card. Again, probably have to imagine it's just more of the same from Fairfield coaches. Just treat the game as such, 0-0, and play through the finish line. Could be a situation where at some point, if you're Joni Millhouse, why not learn, and if it's a 2-goal game with 7 or 8 or 6 minutes left to go, do you pull the keeper and try to see if you can force a problem from the Stags? It is one thing taking over a program that knows how to win year in, year out in Fairfield, but every year it's a new group of players, and you have to learn how to win a game first. It's not just given to you. And for a Fairfield team that likes to challenge themselves, and this was when Jackie Kane was a coach, and now with Coach Gebhardt as a coach, as a takeaway here, advantage being played for Fogelson, and it's fended off the line. Well, and now, seeing that there is no goalie there, keeper must have just snuck off the field, yeah. So Villanova, I mean, again, we're looking over the other side of the field, and the keeper must have came off after the goal was scored. So Villanova have pulled their goalie. I mean, that answers the question I'm asking myself with 11 minutes to go. This ball's going to come out, and the referee is going to stop the clock here. And is there going to be a green card? There is. So it's going to be on Fairfield's number 10, Camille Perloff, 2-minute green card. Unfortunately, we didn't have any signal coming up that Villanova pulled their goalie. But now, the way that it is, Villanova is actually going to be up 2 field players here with no goalie. So, I mean, it's not quite Patrick Waugh with Colorado Avalanche pulling a goalie with 13 minutes to go in the third period of an ice hockey game, but with 12 minutes in a game and you're chasing 2 and you seem like you have a little bit of the momentum, why not? Don't mind it. On a fortuitous bounce goes to the stick of Borkowski, the score of the last goal. Ava ahead, good tracking back from Corcoran. Ball spun across. Did Mengotti play it behind? The referee says it was fine, wasn't intentional. Lysop. Now with Kerry Worley. And Gotti deflects it behind. You can't play it intentionally over the end line, but you can deflect passes. Referee eagle-eyed right there. Stays with Villanova. Worley again into the circle. They've Boston. This will come out. That's perfectly fine if you're Fairfield right now with 9 minutes left to go. 30 seconds left on the green card to Fairfield's number 10, Camille Perloff. This is the side of the field that you wanted if you're Fairfield, with Villanova pulling the goalie coming after the Borkowski goal early on in this quarter. Great move by Fitzgerald to get it across to Cortland Schumacher. Now again, this is unlike, and apologies for those that may be saying, why are you saying this, JJ? Unlike ice hockey where you can score from anywhere, still in field hockey, even if you pull the goalie, you have to get a touch inside the attacking circle. So you can't just put it on. You need to have, establish a possession in the circle. Like right here for Senior, puts it across, and it's going to be a corner. It is. And this is where things are going to get weird, folks, if you're not accustomed to this, because, yes, there is no goalie, and you cannot run one back on. And Villanova have also used the referral. And apologies for those at home that are much more familiar with the game. This is for people that maybe not accustomed to seeing a goalie pulled this often. Have to just get used to the rules, so just trying to make sure everyone, at least I do the best I can to get things across. If I'm getting things wrong, make sure to let me know in the comments. So here we go. It's going to be 5 players on the line for Villanova. You are allowed to add the extra field player without the goalie. It can be so mental for Fairfield because you're not seeing a player in the pads. Objective still the same. Just get the release off. So it'll be Alice Peferi to insert. There's the 5, bravely trying to defend the line for Villanova to keep this at a 2-goal game. To Mengotti, deflected, and deflected wide. Job done by the DPC. I believe it was Kerry Worley that got her stick to it first. And it's also one of those as well on a attack penalty corner where if you don't have a drag flick, the initial shot without a deflection has to hit the baseboard. But you think, okay, drag flick with no keeper, no problem. But if it's a dangerous release because the fly of a defensive penalty corner unit comes out, takes it high, it could even be brought back the other way. So it is truly mental in the sense of how can you keep your composure. Well, welcome back to field hockey here at University Field, where we've literally had everything in this game. Well, okay, I shouldn't say everything because we could have a red card. As Ivy Spate will always be the one to remind us here, his first ever game that he statted for field hockey, had a player sent off in the first minute of a game. So, good times. Not here, though. But there can be weird stuff that happens. This ball goes to Catalina Ness. And Villanova, without a goalie, pulled after the game was 4-2. And Ava Borkowski scored very early on in this corner. As Connie Hoffman fended well. And again, this is just a learning opportunity for both of these teams. How do you adapt to a situation? Ultimately, that's what you want from non-conference play. And there's going to be another green card that's going to come out. It's going to be on Fairfield. Be the number 17. And that'll be Connie Hoffman who's going to sit. So again, for Villanova, this basically becomes a two-player advantage. That ball did go over the line. Bad leg there for Worley. Player now in her junior campaign out of Westchester, Pennsylvania. Featured all in the 23 season, but a regular both off the bench and occasional starter. If you enjoyed this one, guys, make sure to come back here on Sunday for Fairfield's second game at home. It's going to be against Lehigh. You can watch right here on the Stag Sports Network Fairfield Athletics YouTube page. And then not going to be home until October the 3rd. Good news is, if you missed this game, missed that game, you can watch this on replay as many times as you want. This game will be archived. Again, Villanova up 2 players, one because of the green card to Connie Hoffman. Half of that is gone, and then with the goalie pulled, has been pulled since about 12 minutes left to go in this quarter. Villanova trying to get it back to 1. They might have a chance here. Good defensive work by Mengani, not once but twice, but Borkowski able to turn it just inside the circle. This is going to come out. Official, not happy by the language coming from Maeve Boston. Desperate in her appeal attempts. Again, both teams also using their referral before this. Can't request a look at anything. You can politely ask the officials to maybe consider having an official review, but very rarely that is the case. Good step. That's Kylie Corcoran. And now she breaks. That looked to have been a foot on Bresnahan, but in fact it's on Fairfield. But now that green card to Hoffman is expired, and Kaylin Fogelson will now take over the role. This is the area now, if you're Villanova, you do have to sell out with having one more field player on the field with the goalie pulled off restarts. You should have almost everybody in a white jersey on the attacking half of the field. Make it almost impossible for Fairfield to play through. And Ness does excellently and runs past 2. And Ness is on goal. She's got Amanda Dressel with her. But Ness on her own with 4 in the circle. Hesitates. Deflected behind. And while, if you're Ness, you're not happy about getting a shot off, you did everything right in that situation. Fairfield keeps possession, forcing all Villanova players inside their own defensive half. Now Ness is bounced by, but puts it off the side of the cage. Tight chance, tight angle, put off a little bit by the reach of the defender and Lysot, the first of the 2 goal scorers for Villanova. Villanova, again, can't really wait unceremoniously, just have to get players forward with 3.5 minutes to go. Fairfield also got a goal early on in this quarter. Came from Alice Peferi, a bit of an odd one. That is played towards the circle, and Ron has to parry it away. Second chance. Here this near side. Is really well defended, though, from Peferi, able to at least scramble away from goal, and now Fairfield can break through Fogelson. That's end-to-end stuff here. Well, Ron had to be really aware to that one just to fight it off. Now Corcoran able to twist and turn near the circle. Now gets it in, and it'll be a corner. And again, this will be another opportunity for the Stags to shoot on a cage that isn't being defended by a keeper. After Fairfield got what you can quote as a bit of a softie there in the 47th minute from Peferi, just putting it towards net. Now the 5th corner of the match. Bet it's going to be a bit meat and potatoes variety. Get it and shoot it. Fairfield led 2-0 after 6 minutes, 3-0 at halftime. A little bit hard work due to the persistence from Villanova, but it'll be Alice Peferi, who also, remember, had a penalty stroke saved also in this second half. Chance to find a teammate here and they're trying to put it beyond doubt. Fairfield have converted on corners now in each of their last 2 matches. Pilar Mengani in the 5th minute converted on an APC. The referee patiently waiting for the Villanova players to get on the line. And here we go. Peferi to insert. Goes to Mengani. Deflected, and it goes in. Pilar with her 2nd goal of the game. Fairfield's 2nd APC goal. And now with 2:41 left, you figure that's a result in the bag. And that's why I said you have to be basic at this point and just put it on frame. They already had a corner with the keeper out without converting, and now you convert. So Joni Millhouse is not going to put the goalie back in, so we remain still with the keeper out again. Villanova took the goalie out when Eva Borkowski scored in the 48th minute. It was just about 70 seconds after Fairfield took a 4-1 lead. Made Fairfield sweat for the better part of 10 minutes or so. Had chances to score, at least good attacking areas. Borkowski once again now up to 3 goals on the season. Will carry ahead into the circle she goes. She went down, but she ultimately, judged by the umpire, to fall over. It'll be Fairfield possession with 2 minutes to go, and you figure now it's just see this out. And now the job here for Fairfield just to keep possession, foul on Villanova. Actually, this is the first career multi-goal game for Pilar as well. Had a couple of games with goals and assists, but never a 2-goal game for the senior. Now up to 12 in her career. Alice Peferi with a goal and 2 assists. Nearly could have been 2 and 2. As we're into the final minute here. It's been certainly an entertaining game for the neutrals. Fairfield, who also, by the way, didn't think I was going to use this one here, but this is the 12th time since the team returned to play from the COVID-19 pandemic. So spring of 2021, or Fairfield have scored 4 or more goals in a game. 12 times at home, 17 times in total. And they'll pick up their 8th win in program history against the Big East squad. Villanova, they'll avenge a 4-3 loss down in Pennsylvania from a year ago. And Villanova will have Sunday off. They're back in action against LaSalle at home before their first conference game against UConn on the 19th. But as the horn goes, Fairfield open up their home schedule with a 5-star performance, and also Laura Gebhardt, her first victory as the head coach of Fairfield Field Hockey, with a 5-2 decision over Villanova. Peyton Ron picking up 30th victory as the goalie of Fairfield. A goal each from Alex Senior, Camille Perloff. 2 goals for Pilar Mengani, a goal and an assist from Alice Peferi. And for Villanova, goal each for Eva Borkowski and Jamal Isut. So Fairfield Field Hockey, second of their 2 games at home this weekend, will be on Sunday as they will take on Lehigh. We'll go live at 12:55 and the action started at 1 p.m. For our entire Stag Sports Network crew, I'm JJ Duke saying enjoy the rest of your Friday. Win number 1 for Laura Gebhardt. Win number 1 for Fairfield on this 2025 season. Stags knock off Villanova 5-2.